All right. Ever thought about what it takes to create those awesome travel experiences? You know, the ones you actually want to book.
Yeah, like what goes on behind the scenes.
Exactly. We're diving deep into the world of tourism product managers today. Those are the masterminds who take a destination and turn it into a must-do adventure.
Sounds cool. So we're talking about the people who make travel packages happen.
You got it. We've got these RoleCatcher guides, and let me tell you, it's way more than just booking flights and hotels.
Oh, I bet. What else is there?
Okay, so get this. They analyze market trends, research all the cool destinations and activity.
Okay, so they're like travel detectives.
Uh-huh, kind of. And then they package those into trips people actually want to book.
Makes sense. They're creating the experiences, right?
Yeah. But it goes even further. They handle the distribution too.
Distribution, you mean like getting those trips in front of people.
Exactly. They work with travel agents, tour operators, and get those packages onto websites where you click book. They're like architects, but for adventures.
Wow, that's a lot more than I realized. So they wear many hats.
Totally. And under the what they do section, there's this massive list of responsibilities. Anything surprise you?
Well, what really stands out is how they take something, let's say the feeling of a place, and turn it into something you can actually sell. Like they have to understand what makes travelers tick to craft an experience that connects.
It's like they're bottling up the essence of a place and making it irresistible. And speaking of memorable experiences, one perk they highlighted is the potential for travel in this role.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got to scope out those hidden gems, right?
Sure, there are probably some amazing trips involved, but let's be real, it's not all sunshine and beaches. This industry moves fast, and technology plays a huge role. The guides stress how vital it is to be comfortable with data analytics, AI, all that.
So it's not just about having a good eye for a beautiful location.
Nope, you gotta be tech savvy too. Think about how fast things went digital, even with travel bookings. Tourism product managers have to stay ahead of the curve, or they'll get left behind.
So you need to be creative, adaptable, and tech savvy. Wow, that's a unique combination. It's not your typical 9 to 5 either, right?
Definitely not. Let's break down what makes this career so exciting and, of course, the challenges you might face.
Right, because no job is perfect.
Yeah,
Let's get real about those pros and cons.
for sure. One of the biggest draws, hands down, is the travel. Exploring new places, discovering hidden gems, that's a huge plus for many.
You're literally getting paid to travel. Who wouldn't want that? What else is there?
Well, you're part of building unique experiences that bring joy to people. And don't forget the potential for growth. You can climb that career ladder.
All of that sounds pretty amazing. But they do mention that it's a competitive field. Plus those long hours, the pressure to stay ahead of the trends. That can't be easy.
Those are definitely things to consider, but instead of seeing them as deal breakers, think of them as factors to weigh.
It's about finding the right fit for you. Right.
Exactly. What works for one person might not work for another. It's about your work style, your goals, all of that.
I like that. Now onto the skills section, because this is where I was blown away. Okay, marketing, communication, those make sense. But then I saw negotiation, risk assessment.
Oh, yeah, and sustainability, too.
Yes. It's like they want you to be a Swiss Army knife of skills.
It's a pretty diverse skill set, that's for sure. But here's the cool part. A lot of those skills are transferable.
Transferable, like from other jobs.
Absolutely. You might have project management experience from a totally different field, right?
Yeah, I actually do.
Well, guess what? Planning, organizing, managing budgets, leading a team, all of that translates perfectly to this role. You'd be surprised how many skills you already have that could be valuable in the tourism industry.
So you're saying my experience managing projects at my old job could be my ticket to designing dream vacations. That's actually really encouraging.
Exactly. Don't underestimate what you already bring to the table. It's not always about ticking off every single box on the job description. It's about showing how your unique experience, even from different fields, can translate into success in tourism.
That's a good point. Now, what about career progression in this field? One of the guides actually lays out a path from entry level all the way up to senior management.
It's like a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. You see how each level builds on the one before it? It's like they're giving you a roadmap with concrete steps to move up in your career.
Exactly. They outline the typical responsibilities for each level, too. Like, at an entry-level position, you might be assisting with market research. But then, in a mid-level role, you're leading those initiatives. And finally, as a senior tourism product manager, you're the one setting the strategic direction for the entire department.
Wow, that's amazing. It shows you the progression from hands-on work to leadership.
Exactly.
Okay, so they've given us the path, But actually landing a job in this industry, that's a whole other story. Like we said, it's competitive. What do you need to stand out?
That's where preparation is key. And this is another area where RoleCatcher really shines. They have this section with a ton of potential interview questions, all tailored to aspiring tourism product managers.
Oh, wow. Like what kind of questions are we talking about?
Well, for example, they have one that says, describe your experience in developing and launching new tourism products. Having these kinds of questions in your back pocket is invaluable when you're prepping for an interview.
It's like having a crystal ball.
Uh-huh.
Knowing what they're looking for is half the battle, right? Speaking of interview prep, there's something else they mentioned that really surprised me. They talked about using AI for interview practice. Like, imagine having a personal coach in your pocket prepping you for those tough questions.
It's kind of wild how much technology is changing the game, right? And yeah, AI can give you really specific feedback on your answers, help you polish your delivery, but honestly, nothing can replace good old-fashioned practice.
Totally. Speaking of practice, what about those curveball questions they always throw in? Like, how do you identify and analyze tourism trends? That one would really put you on the spot.
That's where your passion for the industry needs to shine through. You could wow them with your knowledge of emerging markets or those cutting-edge sustainable travel initiatives. Don't be afraid to talk about inclusivity and risk management too. Showcasing those passions, along with your skills, that's what makes you memorable.
For sure. Okay, reading through all of this, I kind of want to pack my bags and become a tourism product manager. What gets you most excited about this field?
Oh man, there's so much to love. I think it's that awesome mix of creativity and strategic thinking. On the one hand, you're designing these incredible experiences, but on the other, you're digging into market analysis, using data to make sure those experiences are actually successful. Plus, the potential to make a real difference with sustainable tourism, that's huge for me.
Absolutely. Creating amazing experiences while making sure those destinations thrive, that's a win-win. And to be real, those travel perks don't hurt either.
For sure, but it's important to acknowledge the challenges too, right? It's not all glamorous tricks.
Right, we talked about the competition. What else makes this a demanding career?
Well, the industry is constantly changing. Remember we talked about technology. Think about how quickly things moved online. A tourism product manager needs to be on top of those trends, always adapting.
So they're like trend forecasters with a knack for logistics, who also happen to be passionate about creating unforgettable experiences. That's a lot to juggle. But from these RoleCatcher guides, it seems like a super rewarding career for the right person.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about finding that sweet spot where your passions and skills meet the demands of the market.
Well said. Now let's circle back to career progression for a minute. The guides gave us a glimpse into a typical path, starting with entry-level roles. What kind of experience is most valuable at that stage?
When you're just starting out, I think a mix of education and real-world experience is key. RoleCatcher suggests internships, part-time gigs in the industry, even volunteering for tourism-related organizations. Just get your foot in the door, you know?
It's about building a solid foundation. Makes sense. And then as you move into junior and mid-level positions, the responsibilities grow.
Yeah. Exactly. You might be managing certain products, doing market research, maybe taking a more strategic approach to marketing and distribution plans. At this level, the profiles emphasize analytical skills, communication, being a problem solver.
Sounds like those early experiences really paved the way for those higher-level positions.
Exactly. It's a progression, just like any career. But what really sets senior-level folks apart is leadership. You're not just managing products anymore, you're managing teams, setting the vision for the whole organization.
It's like leveling up in a video game. But instead of earning experience points, you're gaining actual experience and taking on more responsibility.
Huh. I like that analogy. And just like in those games, those early challenges prepare you for the bigger quests later on.
Speaking of bigger quests, what does it take to land one of those coveted senior management roles in tourism?
According to the guides, leadership is what really sets people apart at that level. It's not just about the products anymore. It's about leading people, making those strategic decisions, and driving innovation for the entire company. Plus, being a good leader means mentoring the next generation, right?
Passing the torch. So it's not just about climbing the ladder yourself. It's about bringing others along with you.
Exactly. Sharing what you've learned, being a mentor, creating a supportive environment, those are all crucial parts of leadership, especially in tourism.
Now, for a lot of people, the interview is the most nerve-wracking part of this whole process. Any advice for acing those interviews?
The interview is your time to shine. Show them your passion, your skills, how well you'd fit with their company culture. Be ready to talk about your experience, what you know about the industry, even your vision for the future of travel. This is where those RoleCatcher resources are pure gold.
Right. Having those tailored interview questions is like having a secret weapon. You can prepare for those tough questions, craft amazing answers. I love that they even give you sample responses and tips for structuring your answers. It's like having an interview coach on speed dial.
And don't underestimate the power of practicing those answers out loud. It might feel a little weird, but it helps you feel more confident.
Practice makes progress, right? Whether it's getting ready for an interview or fine-tuning your marketing strategy, putting in the work pays off.
And speaking of marketing, we've talked a lot about technology today, and for good reason. It's totally changing the tourism game.
It really is. We touched on data analytics, social media, even AI for stuff like resumes and interview prep. But it goes even deeper, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Think about virtual reality experiences that let people explore destinations before they even book a flight, or personalized travel recommendations based on your interests. We've even got chatbots for 247 customer service.
It's like having a personal travel agent in your pocket. It's amazing how technology is shaping the entire experience, from booking to exploring.
For sure. And for tourism product managers, staying ahead of these technological changes is critical. It's about using these tools to create even more amazing, more personalized experiences for travelers.
It's incredible how technology shapes not only how we travel, but also how these experiences are designed and managed behind the scenes. Okay, one last question before we wrap things up. If you could give one piece of advice to someone dreaming of a career in tourism product management, what would it be?
I'd say this. Cultivate a real curiosity for the world and its people. Be fascinated by different cultures. Try to understand what drives people to travel, and never, ever stop learning about the industry.
That is great advice. Passion and curiosity will take you far in any field, especially one as dynamic and people-focused as tourism. I love that. Immerse yourself, explore, never stop learning. What a great thought to wrap up this deep dive into the world of tourism product management.
It's been fun.
For our listeners, I hope this has been insightful, maybe even inspiring. If you're passionate about travel, love a fast-paced environment, and the idea of creating unforgettable experiences.
This could be the perfect career path.
Exactly. And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher's resources for a deep dive of your own. They have so much information there. Until next time, happy travels, everyone.